Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. Market is officially open. Okay, so I took a trade yesterday after I think I was $200 odd down. I took a trade yesterday, which won, and I think I ended up $80 down yesterday, so it wasn't as bad. But it was bouncing all over yesterday, and I got in a little bit too. I was a bit too eager, so that's fine. It's going to happen a bit. So I'm just looking at two legs down here at the moment. So there is what looks like a bigger channel up there. I'm just going to zoom out quickly. You can see that. So two legs down would get us close to this area. And I've looked on Bookmap as well. There's a lot of buy orders sat at 420 on the NQ. So if we can have another push down there to the NQ and clean this area, this may get to here. So I'm going to get an order here ready just at this line just to see if I can't pick up on this. Pretty much ranging at the moment. So now we've actually broke below there, I think, by a tick. But I'm just going to leave this here at this measured leg. We'll see if it'll push down a little bit more. We have got overnight. You may consider that overnight highs. Maybe not. We'll see. Okay, so that's broke that level now. So what I might do is just get in here, actually.
Order submitted.
Bear me a second. So I'm going to put that order there. I'm going to put my stop below the lows of the day, about there. I'm going to put my profit up there, something like that. We're at the lows of the day, two legs down. I'm hoping this pushes up. There's that measured leg there. I think that looks about right. So yeah, there was some orders, some buy orders at 420 on the NQ. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this works. But if you zoom out, I'll say hello in a sec. If you zoom out, there does look like there's a bigger channel working up there. We had the one leg up. We kind of had two legs back, and it does look like we're kind of working up. So let's see how we get on anyway. So my stop is a tick below there, which is about that. So it's a 150 risk, which is okay. Okay, so Karina, good morning to you. Exponential, how you doing, buddy? Is it Sheva or Shiva? Let's call you Sheva, unless you tell me otherwise. And Disco, how you doing, bud? Okay, yeah, so we look like we're in a channel. I know people like Dan and a few others had that a channel, and that would be a break of it. And it's two legs down. I think it is a measured leg now. I think it's safe to say that's hit a measured leg. If I put that up a bit, yeah, there's a little double bottom there. So hopefully this continues on up. Plenty of space for the low. Maximum risk $52. So I'm happy with that one. So fingers crossed anyway. Let's see what happens. But we have had this channel up, and it does look like two legs back. And we are testing the tops of these areas, and it does overall look sort of kind of bullish. I suppose the only slight negative, if this is a bigger channel, we didn't quite get high enough there. So we'll see what happens anyway. Now, it may have been prudent to wait for that to push above there, but because we've got this channel, I was quite happy to get in there. So we'll see what happens. So NQ has got a channel with a break. There's a small break there. It may come and test this again, but it almost looks like this may be bottoming. We'll see. I need to get a push up, really. But it is a channel. It may be a break, and it may push to a new low. That's okay. I've still got plenty of space on here. The bottom of that channel is there, so let's see what happens. Another horrible low volume. I know, yeah, unbelievable that, isn't it? That is literally all we've got. It's unbelievable, isn't it? It may have been best to wait for the push above there, really. But we'll see. Just looking at this NQ. I'm just going to get out this order at the moment. I'm going to wait for it to push above there. It's a bit safer. At the moment, see, on this NQ, it looks like we've had 2 legs up, so this may go a bit lower. So I've made myself $5.50 per account thereafter, but I think at this particular time, I'd have been better off waiting for it to push above that EMA. That will give me the indication it's going up. So I'm going to put my order above there. I'm not sure about this at the moment. The slight issue I have is we've broke the lows here, and there does look like there may be 2 legs up. So after a break, there could be a break there already, and we've made a couple of attempts to push higher. It could come down a little bit lower here. So I'd rather be safe and get out of that trade just at the moment. I'm trying to play things a little bit smarter. Now there's going to be some teething problems. I do understand how this works, although I haven't officially been trading it for a long time. I've traded it on and off. In some circumstances, he waits for a move up, and if it does bounce off this area and pushes above that EMA and holds after 2 legs down, I think that would be a safer option to go long. And part of the reason is because of what the NQ is doing. Now, there may be a small break here. Because it's fitting so nice there, it looks like a break, in which case we've made 2 attempts to go higher, so it may continue on down a little bit lower. Now, we've cleared out any liquidity there now, so if it does continue down, there's probably not enough buyers, or there's more sellers, or whatever it is. So and what I need to think about doing as well is when I do get into these trades, we'll wait patiently instead of charging towards them. But that's okay. It's going to take a little bit of time. As I say, yesterday I was down about 230, 240 on the stream. I did take a trade for about 145, something like that, and I ended up $80 down. So I had 5 green days and that one day $85 down. So I was okay with that in the end. I got to say, it's much more relaxing doing this. It's not stressing me. But it is holding there at the moment so far. But on this NQ, that's why I decided to get out of that trade. The beauty about looking at the NQ is, as we know, they kind of work in conjunction with each other. So if this starts to push down, I think really holding long on the ES is probably a better idea. So channel with a break, 2 pushes to a new low. So as long as this doesn't come down anymore, it may continue up. As I said, I looked on Bookmap earlier, and there was a bunch of orders down here, buy orders. So we'll see. We are holding here on the ES, which is encouraging. If we can get a push above that, I want it to hold above this EMA on the NQ. And I want to push above here, and then I'm quite confident we're at least going to get up to the highs, and I may take my stop a little bit higher. Maybe there, which should reduce that risk a little bit, and I don't need to go much higher than this. Once it does get up, okay, so we're above that EMA now, so that's encouraging. On the ES, sorry, I'm just going to bring this down a little bit. I'd like to get out before the tops. So channel break new low, and we're pushing above this now. So Jan, how you doing, my friend? Just going to get an order ready.
Order
Just
submitted.
in case we get that. I just want to check. I'd like this to come back and bounce off that EMA first, giving us an indication. What I like about the ES is holding back down here out the way. If this now starts to push up after a couple of legs, then I will be interested in getting in there. I just want it to hold above that EMA. So channel break new high. As long as this bounces here, okay. So we've already had a break of this micro on the NQ. As long as we hold and start to work up a little bit more, then I will get in. But just at the moment, I'm just going to sit tight. So we got some news coming up in 20 minutes as well. Just got to be aware of. Okay, so channel break new high on the NQ. Now we've pushed below the EMA, so I'm glad I got out of that at the moment. I just wanted to give this time. This thing seems to move a lot quicker and gives you a better indication of where prices are going quicker before this really does. So I'm just going to sit tight on that in a minute. I haven't reloaded my data actually. Second entry on the ES. Yeah, I didn't have nothing really while it was a doji. I'm assuming that was the one you meant. Just going to pull this down here out of the way a minute. In fact, let's get rid of it. Where's me that does? So in fact, I'm going to get rid of that and I'll just put it on the bigger ES. I don't think it is anyway at the moment. I nearly didn't stream actually. We've had some electricians around this morning. Wiring up these solar panels and putting a couple of extractor fans, but they run out of something, so they've had to go early. Otherwise, the electric had been on and off, and I couldn't have traded. So, by the looks of this, I think there's a good chance we're going to come down here and test this area down here. Is that update working okay, Jan, is it? I found out my chart kept streaming. Once I got rid of it, it cleared up. But I do like those two little arrows where I can do kind of measured moves. So if that's working, I'll reinstall it. I do like those two legs. It's okay, this, but I much prefer the two little things with arrows that you got on yours. Find any more trades after stream? Yeah, I took one trade, and I think I ended the day on $80 down, which it was better than $200 down. I think I just took a bit too many trades yesterday. It was an older version I used, but I am using it on several charts without any issues. Brilliant. Just wondering if it can fit here. Let me have a look. Oh, it's a new version, isn't it? So I'll have to download that. I'll download that after. So channel break, new high. What's going on here? I can't seem to see any type of a downtrend there. I will put that there just to see if it comes up and bounces here somehow. That doesn't look too bad. Okay, kind of two pushes up. Big bullish bar there, triggered it, straight down. So leg up and a leg up. Would I want to go short here? I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world. I prefer to go a little bit higher though. A little bit higher, but then with a strong push below. Daryl, how you doing, buddy? Market is in a great place to put in a bull trap overall. It's kind of there, wasn't it? Channel break, new low. Channel break, new high. A very good day yesterday with MNQ 40 tick range bars. Are you having a go with those range bars, are you? Chat recommended the setups. He did, didn't he? I meant to take a photo of that. I'm always interested in looking at new ideas. Just remind me, Jan, what was the setup? I'll take a quick photo of it. Channel break, two pushes to a new high. Tempting to go short there. I'd have preferred it to hold though. Just in case we have two legs down. Could be two pushes and then up again. So I'm just going to sit tight here. It's a bit sideways. Definitely is better. London, unfortunately, I can't start when it's open. New York is range. Let me have a look at that. Thanks, mate. Oh, I'll look at that later. Okay, so we've got push up, a little bit of sideways here. I'd like to get up to that measured leg and see if we can get a rejection here. We've had 1, 2, 3 of them. Not enough, that. Okay, measured move. Two, three. Needs to get down below that EMA really and close there. Trying out different strategies. Yeah, penguin style, mate. I've tried a few times before. I'm just struggling with Pats lately because it's so chopping. I don't know. I'm just going for a rough patch with Pats. So what I started doing a couple of weeks ago is trading a little bit more penguins in the evenings, just on micros, just to kind of have a play around with it. And I had a good week. I had 5 green days in a row. I took 3 winning trades one day. The trouble is, and not just that, I took a trade sort of a week and a half ago. Took me out for about a point and then went in the direction I was, aiming for. So my direction is okay. So my chart read is okay to catch the general direction. But I'm obviously not entering right. I'm obviously getting in, it's maybe too congested or something. So obviously, penguin being bigger spot stops and going for bigger moves, you've got a little bit more room for error. So I just seem to have some success with it. I've gone down to micros, so my risk is, and not only that, it's so hard. It's almost impossible to mitigate risk on Pats. One contract, you never know how big a signal bar is going to be until it's closed. It could be 8 ticks, it could be 28 ticks. So it's just hard to get your risk. Doing it this way, I can work out and get my risk more or less right. I want us to hold down here now. There is 2 legs up and like a triple test here. It's still a little bit choppy though, to be fair. There is a second entry long there that's triggered. I was hoping it was going to come down, but it doesn't seem to be in a hurry. It's not super clear. Me too. I had a really terrible week with Pats, trying out 12 tick targets. Well, suits my personality a bit more. 4 to 6 ticks. I've been looking at Penguin's YouTube channel as well. Yeah, he's trading a little bit different. I think up until sort of 3 or 4 months ago, if he was taking a trade, he'd wait for it to move below that EMA, indicating, but a lot of times he's getting in here at the top of a move and putting a stop up a lot higher. And the beauty about getting in earlier, you get out earlier rather than getting in here and getting out too close to the bottom. There's a failure there. We've broken below it. There's bound to be liquidity there. So I'm going to take this. It's a triple test as well, so I'm risking a little bit less on here. So let's go about there, I think. More or less 1-to-1. I'd rather risk a bit less on this NQ because it's a little bit too excitable for me. I don't seem to be having as much luck as I do. But we've had a triple test there, so hopefully this pushes down. Trouble is, it's going a bit sideways now. It is a perfect measured leg, a leg and a leg. It's also a triple test, but we had a failure there. It triggered and came back up. But if we can get below these bars here, specifically that one there, we may get that push down below here and then to the bottoms. But for me, we need to get below there, which hopefully we can. That's where we need to get below for me. If we can get below there, we may drop. But I do like the triple test. I think that's encouraging. And maybe there's a channel down there. If we get below there, I think we may be okay, because there's bound to be liquidity there, and quite likely there as well. But we need to get below there. Otherwise, bounce, 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 triple test. And that worries me. We need to get below there. There does seem to be something like there. It's certainly the safest place up there. It may pick off areas like this. I don't know. I mean, it still may go up. It's starting to look a bit sideways. Once we get below there, I think we may be okay. Just going to leave that stop where it is. Trouble is, we've got to push up with the bounce and about, so I think this is going higher, to be honest with you. Might as well just leave me stop at the top. It's not worth trying to save $8 if it does go down. Might as well just leave it. It's a little bit sideways now. That's the issue I have, I think. Just looking at this now, we've bounced off here, so that may push up. It's hard to say, we'll see. Does look like a channel there, so maybe there's a lower high there. This will push down. We'll see. It is what it is. It's a $59 risk anyway. I can live with that. In fact, let's call it a $57 risk. Okay, it's broke below that bar, so that's good, but I really want this to finish bearish. So channel down with a break, lower high. We'll see. So that's the beauty about giving it a slightly bigger stop. Hopefully, if we can get below here, then I think there's a good chance we come down then. What I don't want is a second entry long here. Oh my golly gosh, what has gone on there? Why has it just stopped? I'm getting out here news, isn't it? Christ, on a bike. News, I forgot about the news. Is it the news? It's the news. I didn't notice the news. Okay, I got out anyway. It would have worked. Yeah, it would have worked. It was actually 58. It was about here, so a little bit higher than that. So it would. I decided to get out anyway. As soon as it dropped like that, I got out. Something didn't feel right. No alarm. Did I not have my alarm go off? I didn't notice it. Let's have a look. What am I doing? Clicking it again. I'm not have the alarm. Oh, I opened two of them, didn't I? That was the second one. Oh, what's going on there then? Oh, news is not responding. Any ideas, Ian? Impact News. I wasn't watching the comments. Not responding. Close program. I don't know. Something's not working there. Got no idea what happened there. Didn't work. To be honest with you, I should have known. I've got it on this chart. That was silly me. Oh well. You're not sure. Are you using the latest? I think so. Let's have a look. Well, it worked. Anyway, I got out around about there, so I'm a few dollars up anyway. So total, I think so. Let me have a look. You are, yeah, latest one. She made a double bottom. Yeah, latest one. Yeah. I don't know what happened there. I'm still usually aware of it, to be honest with you. It actually worked. That the trade would have worked. So when it spiked down quick, I just decided to get out of it because I thought something's happened that I'm not unaware of. But yeah. I should have just hit close, shouldn't I? I think it went down to $30 or $40 before it got me out, but then it came back and then shot down again. But there you go. It is what it is. So yeah, a little double bottom there. So I wonder if this channel is holding then. Maybe it is. $2,000. What for this? You think so? People seem to use the so I'll just say the 2,500. Better as in how? Let's configure that, see if it looks any different. Tick. Tick chart. Tick. Trouble is, when you change the tick chart, it affects your trade size, doesn't it? Sure, it depends on the volume, which tick chart you use during the most volatile days. You could use a 4,000 tick chart. See more clearly, less fake outs and better bars. Johnny, you know I'm trading Penguin style now, don't you? Just checking. Trouble is, I don't know what the risk's going to be like there, so what I might do quickly is just shut that MNQ down, switch onto a sim. Just check.
Order
just
submitted.
The sim's open, and if I get into a trade
Order
here,
filled.
Bigger stops like that. Actually, it doesn't look too bad, does it? Yeah, that looks okay, actually. So
order filled.
Let's give it a try. I got to say, Well, even if you use the other, it's still good. Yeah. Gotta say, this may be a little bit slower. I'll give it a try. Yeah, I mean, we know you can trade. I mean, this is price action. I'm trading sort of moves with legs. So we know you can trade. I mean, this is just a slightly blown out version of Max. So we've got a channel down to attempt to push higher. Is this going to come down? 1, 2, 3. It may well do. Channel with a break and new low. Channel break, new high. There's 2 attempts to push higher. This could fail and come down lower. And the more I see this, the more I think it may. We're making... That's a triple test for sure. Must increase the chart use 1. Yeah, I mean, if I trade a sim here, if I'm, let's say I enter here and I put my stop up here, even on one contract, that's a fair size, even on one contract with that amount of size, it's only risking $90 something, so I'm all right with that actually. But it does look like it's pushing down this.
Order filled.
1, 2, 3. There's a triple test. That was the original triple test. Unless it's just ranging. I don't know what. I can't think what Penguin uses for his NQ. Anybody know what tick chart Penguin uses on his NQ chart? Channel down, 2 attempts to push higher. This looks like it's coming down. Trouble is, we have had a double bottom there, so or close to, so it may. There is support there as well. Yes, I am, Bud. There's not much on it, to be fair. There's only been 2 comments today, and 3 comments, and 2 of them have been mine. So that was yesterday. So there's no. There's very little. There's very little on there. There was a little bit yesterday, but not much. There is a few people on here, but I don't think many people are commenting at the moment. I don't know why. 250 tick chart, does he? Bells, that's going to move like a rocket, isn't it? 250. Let's have a look at the 250 then. Right, hold on a second before I do that. That is a triple. Let me just have a look. Leg and a leg. It's a triple test here. Trouble is, we've got support all along there, so do I really want to go short here? It is a triple test. Something is just telling me not to go short here. We've got a leg down, 1, 2, 3, so it's tempting, but I'm going to leave it. It's a little bit choppy, to be honest with this, so I mean, we are bouncing off here, aren't we? But the trouble is, we didn't get very far down there. And we've had 2 bounces there, so interesting. Let's try the 250 then. This is going to move like a rocket, isn't it? Yes, I'm glad I didn't get in there. We are finding support there, so unless this is trapping a ton of shorts and this thing's going to go off like a rocket. Thousand tick, yeah. I think the 250 is just a bit. I can't even get in close enough to see the bars really. Let's try the 1,000. What did I have it about? Did I have it at 1,500 or 1,000? I can't remember. Let's try 1,000 again. I think I had it on the 1,000. I think they all kind of give you the same signals. See this? Trouble is here. There's bears trapped and possible bulls here. So I'm going to stay out of this. Who knows where it's going to go? It could shoot up. But if you look on the ES, big bearish bar, another bearish bar there. But there's a bullish bar. So, okay, excuse me just 1 minute. I'm just going to take a quick 1 minute break and grab a drink. I'm a bit thirsty. I'll be a quick minute. Excuse me. Let's put that back on to 32. MNQ. Make sure everything opens.
Order submitted. Order cancelled.
32.
Order submitted.
2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Order cancelled.
That was where I was on about the short, really, but it does look like 2 legs up, but still holding on this line at the moment. So it's just a bit choppy, so I'm just going to sit tight here. I've got to take a little bit less trades. The last couple of days, I've just taken too much. Trouble is with this, shoulder, head, shoulder, it's kind of a bearish pattern, so my gut feeling tells me we may take a bit of a drop. So we may end up doing something like that, coming down to these lows. So I'm just going to kill the colour on this because I'm not convinced. This is definitely, yeah, no. Let's just get rid of it. If you look on the NQ, it's clearly just ranging. So I think this is probably just as much of a range. Now we push down, we make a bunch of attempts, so I think there's a good chance this is going to come down for a second leg, but at the moment it's just a little bit too chopping around. NQ at the moment is clearly just ranging. We are due for a drop down here, I think, but we have bounced a few times at the open, but this is a leg down. Few attempts to push higher. I think there's a fair chance this comes down. See how high this move gets here. This. Yeah, I was tempting to go short here, but the trouble is when it is chopping like that sideways, even though I'm taking a penguin style trade with a bigger stop. I mean, if I was going to get in short here, I'd put my stop up there. Trouble is when it is going like this, you never know where it's going to go. So I've just got to do nothing at the moment and just sit tight. It needs to be a little bit clear. Now, if this is kind of a range, then I'm hoping we get a leg down followed by another leg, but who knows? It does kind of look like a slightly sideways shoulder, head, shoulder. There's kind of the base of it. Shoulder, head, shoulder. So it may just drop. It kind of looks a bit like a bear flag as well. So we'll see. But I don't really trade patterns. I'm aware of them. But yeah, it does kind of look like a bear flag. And the only reason I know that is because I got a giant mouse mat with a load of them on. Descending triangle, it does, doesn't it? Descending triangle. So as I'm going for bigger moves, I can pay more attention to this type of thing. So if I got into a trade here and put my stop there, I would have to be out there. And Q is range, yeah, it is, isn't it? So so if this bounces here, this is quite likely this will come down to here. Trouble is this can travel from here. The NQ can travel from the top to the bottom, and this thing won't even get out of that wedge. So it'd be okay if I was going for a small move, but if I'm putting my stop up here, I've got to go down there, and that's quite a distance on the NQ. On the ES compared to the NQ. The NQ can clear that in half the distance, so just going to sit here, I think, at the moment. Don't know about a descending wedge now. It's more 1, 2, 3, more just range in this section here. So we're out the top now. So let me look at this. Now this is interesting. Two legs up. So any liquidity that was here has now been taken. So is there enough buyers to continue this higher, or is this thing going to come down? Channel down. That looks like two legs up. Let me just do this on here as well. Leg and a leg, two legs up. And we've cleared out all of this. There's a little bit up here because of this. Fact, may not even bother with that, and I think it's less irrelevant, that spike. It's because of the news. But there again, I've gone from the bottom. Okay,
Order
let's have a go at
submitted.
this. Let's put it there. And that goes just $70. I'm only doing one contract. Sorry, 2 contracts. Just going for a smaller move. We've had 2 pushes. It's kind of a measured leg. This is a range. We've had a break out this range. It may be failing. Just going for $70. Small risk, not a massive risk. So NQ is clearly ranging. Now, you may argue there's the bottom of a range. We've had a small breakout there, maybe a small breakout here. Hopefully, let's see if this fails. It may well do. It's eaten any liquidity up there anyway, so we'll see what happens anyway. But it is 2 legs up. You can see it, or a triple test. We've had this move down. We're struggling to get up there, so I'm out before the lows. So we'll see what happens. As I say, until I get the hang of this, I'm going to go for a little bit less rather than, you know, ordinary. I'd probably stick another contract on top of that. But as it's a little bit sideways, I'm just going to cut trade because now I'll see 500 more easily. Yeah. Clearly range in there. Hopefully this fails. It's looking like it on the NQ. So I think that stops in the right place. Sorry, that profits in the right place. Clearly 2 legs up, and also you may call it a triple test. So fingers crossed. This just isn't coming down as strong as I'd like, considering we've had that move on the NQ. It's just not much in the way of liquidity there. All the liquidity is going to be down here. If it's all at the same place, it's going to seem much stronger. We need to push down below here now on the NQ. Now we're struggling. I'm getting out of this.
Order
For a
filled.
small profit. Not much. Something I don't like about this now. I cannot. Let's wait for it to push below the EMA, and then I can put my stop up here and get out before the bottom. But this just is struggling to get down. That's the beauty of this. You can decide to get out because everything's a little bit. You got a bit more space. 2000 tick chart on the ES looks different than 2000 tick chart on the MES. Yeah, it probably does a little bit. It's probably not much different. So we had 2 legs down and a bounce there. If this comes down below there, we may get down below the EMA on this, but if there was bits of liquidity on this ES on the way up, it would be easier to get down, I think, and it's 1200 looks like. Let's have a look. Trouble is, you get so many different ideas about try this, try that, and it just doesn't that look any different? It doesn't look bad, does it? It certainly looks like there's more volume anyway. I don't think there's much difference between the two. If that helps anyone. Oh, that's the 1200, that is. So it's probably not much difference, is it? Let's flick over. Oh, I did that. Configure. I don't know. I'm going to have to look at what Penguin uses. I'll put a few notes on his forum later and find out what exactly he uses. Two attempts to push high. If we can get a push down below that EMA, there'll be liquidity there. There'll be some there and definitely down there. But that's why I got out. This just didn't look like it was holding down here. Speedy, how you doing, buddy? Took the second entry short track for 3 points. Good on you, mate. Good Friday. That's what you want on a Friday. Always makes Friday much better, doesn't it? Bye, Speedy. He hasn't said he's gone yet, has he? She's just deleted it. I think he's only said hello and what his points, and she's already wants rid of him. Take no notice of her, Speedy. She's got a mean one on her today, I think. Now look at this thing go. Look, now we're down below there now. Crikey almighty. Let's have a go here now.
Order submitted.
Okay, stop goes up here. Profit down here. 72.65. Right, let's see if this works. This should work. Clearly 2 legs up. Big strong move below the EMA. This thing looks like it's coming down now, so see what happens. I'm still nervous though because it is a bit choppy. I might just see if what I can catch. Is it coming down? It just doesn't seem to be getting past that. I don't like the way it's flickering. It just doesn't want to come down. I don't like this. It just doesn't want to come down, this. It tried early and then shot up. Perhaps it's me just being paranoid. The trouble is, we're already nearly at the bottom on the NQ, so this could shoot down here and this thing may not even move. Well, I'm about $20 well. Thought, oh, now it comes down, look. Perhaps I should have just trusted it. It's a bit choppy, see, so see, we're at the bottom now already, and this thing hasn't. Mind you, this should give up. Perhaps I should have just left it. It is a little bit sideways, but I think there's a good chance it's going to come down. But there you go. Yeah, we're at the lows now, see. A very nice trade on the NQ. 40 range bar lower, high, perfect short base. I'm going to have a look at that later. I did take the photo. Yeah, so, I mean, I got to say, it's easy to get your move on the NQ because it moves so smoothly. That's kind of where I mean, that was the move. It was kind of like that, wasn't it? I'm not too worried about that spike out because of the news, but we kind of had a leg up, didn't we? Then and then we broke out and we tried to go again, and then the thing just dropped. So if you'd have got in there, you know, I'd have been out really quick, whereas this thing struggles down. I got to say, although it does move a lot quicker and can be a little bit more scary, the NQ, you do tend to get in and out a bit quicker. So I didn't think I'd say this, but I think I probably favour the NQ. You tend to get in and out of trades a bit quicker. You know, if the NQ seems to make its mind up where it's going, it kind of does it. So, channel down with a break. 1, 2, 3. Maybe this is a triple test and this will have a go up. Who knows? For me, the overall is up at the moment. The bias is up, I think, generally. So we're at the bottoms here again. We've not broken this area yet. I will say this from penguin style trades, not great when you've got a big strong uptrend for the day. You tend to not get decent sized pullbacks. In fact, your pullbacks are a lot smaller, which is interesting. That would have worked. I would have been out. But, you know, a few teething problems. It's fine. It's going to happen, isn't it? I'm going to get into some of these trades and change my mind, but that's okay. I've generally got the idea of it. It won't be like learning a completely new strategy, that's for certain. NQ is a wild horse in my opinion. Yeah, you're not wrong. You learn penguin just from his YouTube? More or less, yeah. He did exactly the same as I did. He started with Pats and did some time with Pats and just found it difficult. So he kind of, I think in his words, it's kind of a blown out version of Pat's. You know, we look for a second entry like that short. He looks for kind of two legs as a continuation. Same sort of thing, really. And in fact, I traded it maybe 8, 9, 12 months ago for a few weeks again. But he's changed it a little bit. He gets in a bit earlier and gives it a bigger stop. So I have played around with it on and off for a couple of years, little bits. And what I found is some of the trades, for instance, maybe two legs like that, Mac was taken as a second entry short. But it's more or less just the same. 2 attempts to push higher and then a continuation. Same kind of scenario here, 2 attempts to push higher. If you'd have put a short in there, stop up here, you'd have been out. Same with that one, put a short in here, stop up there, you'd have been out. It's just having that confidence in it at the moment, especially when it's just chopping around. But it's very, very similar to Max, very similar. It's price action in the purest sort of form of it. But yeah, channel down, a couple of attempts. I think that the 2 clear attempts were probably that. Something like that. Leg up and a leg up. Leg back down here and eventually another leg. And it worked. It was just a bit finicky and I just had a few second thoughts. But I think some of the trades that I got into, that I got out of, went on to work anyway, I think. Certainly more than the latter at the moment. But we had that big strong move down and I got in here, put me stop up here, and I did get out of it. I think I got in here somewhere. No, tell a lie, my stop would have been there. It was about 58. It's about 58, wasn't it? Something like that. 52. No, because I was out at these lows. I put that there, I think. I can't remember now. Somewhere along those lines anyway. I was out around about there. 2 contracts, 60. Yeah, it was about $58. Did I get in there? I'm sure it was. I'm sure that was above there. I can't remember now, but it went on to work anyway, so I should have just left it, to be honest with you. Yeah, but if you watch his YouTube channels, in fact, I've just joined his YouTube. Sorry, his website. It's only $19 a month, but he doesn't. I think he hasn't done a daily analysis for about a week now. He's done about 3 on his website. So, but he reads the market more or less the same way as we do. Same sort of scenario. But it's just slower. And I'm trading micros here. As I said yesterday, if you'd have told me I was trading micros, I would have never believed you. Especially, we'll trade 2 micros, waste of time, I thought. But because we're going for a bigger move and it's a little bit slower and more sedentary, for me, it's I was getting stressed. As soon as I was getting in a trade, I was kind of wanting out of it. You can kind of tell at the moment, but it's not stressing me as much as trading Pats did. Trading Pats, you got no room to maneuver. You got no room for error. You make a mistake with Pats, boom, you're out in a second. But that worked beautifully. It just looked like it was struggling to come down, which is why I decided just to get out of it. But yeah, I had this here earlier actually, but I got rid of it. 2 legs, and it does look like we may get it. It's about the same, isn't it? Something like that, which would take us down to these lows. So if we can get 2 little attempts to push higher, we may get a short. Yeah, that's the trouble sometimes. When you look at these charts side by side, we're very close to the lows on this NQ, which means if it does go down a bit lower, it could bounce there. We're still quite a ways away there. So we'll see anyway. We have got a little bit of support here at the open. One thing Max said some time ago, trade what you see, not what you believe, or something similar. That helped me. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's quite hard not to want to assume. I like to say where I think the market's going, because I like to kind of, figure out, do I understand, because price moves in a certain way, and the more you understand that way, which is why you hear me say sometimes, I think it's going to do this. I'm certainly not confident that I'd want to trade it. But I like to kind of predict where it's going, because, it is predictable. And that sort of helps my confidence understand the way or the direction it's going. But Mac is, yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, you probably wouldn't do terrible if you close your eyes and it either the buy or the sell button going for 4 ticks. You may get lucky. But yeah, Matt goes for 4 ticks, so all he's got to get is his bounce or a direction right, and he can get his points. I just find it too hard. It's too tight. There's no room. It's like being restricted, and you can't. It's very hard to. And one of the big things as well is mitigating the risk. It's almost damn impossible. So we got this leg down, 2 legs up. I should have just let my order go there. That would have worked. But there you go. It is still a little bit choppy, but it'd be interesting to see if Penguin may take this. I don't know whether he doesn't do analysis every day. Did you make a loss today? So you're up $19. Yeah, after fees, I'm up $12 on my per account. I got out of a trade. I was about $230 on the stream yesterday, and I ended up. I did take another trade later, early evening last night, and I ended up 80 down. But previous to that, the previous 5 days were all profitable. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay. I'm keeping a risk relatively low just at the moment, keeping it, at $100 or under. And it doesn't stress me out losing $100, $300, $253 on a trade. That does get me a little bit. You're not able to get into the last short. I actually took a short but lost my bottle. I took a short about here. Wait for that move. And I took a short here. And it struggled to get down and start to come back. So I got out here for a few ticks or so. But it went on to work. So I think I got to just leave it. But that does look relatively definitive that we're clearly struggle to go higher. And then eventually, it's worked. So we're not far off a measured leg down here now. Let's put that there. Say, yeah, we're not far off from a leg sideways with a leg. And as I pointed out earlier, shoulder, head, shoulder, or sideways on here, shoulder, head, shoulder. So the pattern worked. It's actually a little bit clearer there. You can see the shoulder, you can see the head, and you can see the shoulder, and didn't it work? So that's another reason that I should have left that trade in there, because patterns do, people do use patterns. They do make a difference. From a Pats trader, not as important. You're only going for a small move, but for me, as I'm going for, a bigger move, perhaps it's, if I'm looking for a short here, perhaps seeing a head, shoulder, and I take it everyone can see that, can't they? Going for that type of pattern, going for that type of pattern may help in the decision making. Yeah, you can see it there, shoulder, head, shoulder, and down. So why isn't that coming off? Yeah, so you can clearly see that shoulder, head, shoulder. It's a little bit sideways on there, but I have seen some patterns where they are sideways on, and it came right up to that area there and did what I kind of thought it may do, but it struggled to come down here, which is why I lost my bottle and got out of it. That's okay. Let's give me the time and market. It's hard this week. Try to do money. If that's what makes people fail, yeah. Yeah, I just noticed yesterday I took way too many trades. I was getting a bit too excited. The last couple of days trading this, I've just felt relief. Feel like the weight's off me. Trading Pats I just found so stressful. Okay, so perfect measured move, leg down, 2 attempts to push higher with a little bit of messing around in the middle. You can clearly see those. There's one there, and there's a second one. 2 clear attempts to push higher. And then down we go, and that worked beautifully. Entry would have been here, stop would have probably been up here, take profit here. So if I'd have taken that trade below that EMA, a stop would have probably gone there, and I'd have been out of those lows. Clearly worked. But I was trading this at the time, and this was just coming down so slow. I was going to say, we're way below that now. So it'd be interesting to see if we get a bounce here. 2 clear legs down. We can hold here. Going along here wouldn't be terrible. We've had very, very close to a measured move. Channel down, leg down, 2 legs up, leg down. Trying to break new low. Trouble is, it may come down and test this bounce from yesterday. Go straight into the EMA without a lower high, yeah. We have had 2 legs down. We haven't quite hit the lows of the day there. Like to see it push up and then make 2 attempts to go lower. I was tempted to get in there, but we weren't quite at the lows. And also we're having bounces off here. So, is this done with the lows now? We have broken the lows of the day. You can clearly see that, can't you? Shoulder, head, shoulder, and down. That move's kind of made now, isn't it? So he pushed up. I'd like to see it make 2 attempts now to break this area here. Something like that. And then hopefully, there we go. I did consider getting in here after these two legs down. Just didn't quite go lower though, low enough. So I'm looking for that type of thing. A couple of attempts to come down, somewhere along those lines anyway. Like to see liquidity like this taken out before it goes any higher, whether it does go any higher. Some there, quite possibly here as well. So I'd like to see it just bounce down here somewhere a couple of times. In fact, both trades I've taken today would have worked. That one that spiked down after the news, was it there? It was, wasn't it? We had like a triple test. I think it was here, wasn't it? Was it on the NQ? Yeah, it was on the NQ. Had a break. We'd had two pushes up. I think I got in here, didn't I? Something like that. It was about that news. And he stopped us up here. My profit was down here somewhere. It did work. And also that one as well. So both would have worked. So perhaps I just need to leave them and let them kind of figure them out. Okay, so hopefully now we get a couple of legs. They're a bit too small there, I think. That's better. Something like that. I'd like it to just break below there. So I guess Penguin is kind of just a pullback trader to a degree, isn't he, really? It's quite a common way of trading, from what I understand. Okay, so channel with a break. And up we go to a new high. So a trade down here at that measured leg. Now I know measured legs don't always work out, but we got a leg down there, a couple of attempts to go higher, and then a leg down there to the lows. Didn't quite break the lows. I left. A lot of times when I've been taking these trades, I get in too early because my patience, rather than patient. And after the last trade, I said I'm going to wait for it to come to me. And if it that measured move, I'd have got in, and look what happened. It ended up pushing up anyway. So things don't even work out how the way they want them sometimes. information has moved to trading from the 500 tick chart, at least temporarily, due to increased 2000 tick chart has become difficult to find trades on. What an annoying way to ruin a fail second entry in the okay, so trading from the 500 tick chart, at least temporarily, due to its increased volatility. Okay, 2000 tick chart has become hard. I'm assuming is he talking about the NQ there? So I'm trading on 1,000 here. Yeah, the trouble is, obviously, the lower you go, yeah. So he's not trading the 2000 tick chart. So I've got it. I'll have a look anyway. So I've got this one, the ES or the MES at 1200, and the MNQ at 1000 tick. It doesn't seem. I think really the picture is more or less the same. Two legs up. If I flipped over the 2000 tick chart, they'd probably look exactly the same. There's no difference really. I suppose it's having enough information there to tell you. You can clearly see it's pushing up. But I would have said the 1250 probably just gives you a little bit more. Yeah, there's not much different, to be honest with you. It's more or less tailors the same picture. So I think having two lesser tick chart, it's going to be too detailed. I think we don't need, it's like microsurgery. We don't need that. I think this is ample here. And this as well is kind of telling us the same sort of thing. Let's see if there's something larger there. We've had a break and a new high anyway, so okay, so channel break new high. Let's see if we can make two attempts to push lower before this thing continues up, if it does, of course. Trouble is, it's looking like it may be ranging there. Two, three. It's kind of like a triple test there, so it could be a break. One attempt to push higher, second attempt to push higher, and this may come down. It's hard to say at the moment. That open has definitely played a part today. You can see it there. You can see it there and here. I don't think, by the looks of it, there's a larger channel here. I can't see anything that is going to turn into a larger channel. Maybe, possibly, maybe. I'm looking for a failure at the very big picture. Are you trading Penguin, are you, Tyden? Looking for a failure of the very big picture. Penguin, yeah. When you say, you were talking about the, what are you talking about, the NQ or the ES at the moment? Don't think it's setting up. When you say bigger picture, you're looking at something like this, are you? V-shaped recovery button now, ES, yes. Yeah, I had this drawn earlier. Oh, shoot. I had this drawn, something like that. Which doesn't actually look that bad. So 2 legs down. This looks like it's pushing for the highs, doesn't it? Touch. I think we could argue that touch as well. Touch, and 2 legs back. See, that actually looks kind of nice now, doesn't it? 2 legs back. Yeah, that actually works quite good. Yeah, touch. It touches there and it touches here as well. 2 legs back. So all of a sudden, that off the lows of the day and off the measured move kind of looks quite good, doesn't it? So yeah, it does look like it's attempting up here. So if we can get a couple of attempts to push lower and maybe find some support, we may get that second leg up there. But all of a sudden, an entry down there doesn't actually look that bad now, does it? If that looks okay. We kind of had similar previous days a little bit, but yeah, it doesn't look awfully bad, does it, that? But obviously we could do with a couple of attempts to push lower. So yeah, it does look like there's a chance of attempting up. The only trouble is with this, mind you, I talk about this all the time with these channels. We're up to the top of the channel there, bottom, both times up to the top. We fell short this time, and that almost always leads to a break. And fun enough, that's what we've got. 2 legs down, tested this area. Almost a perfect measured leg, bar maybe half a dozen ticks. So I think that would have been a good entry. Be interesting to see where the Penguin, whether he marks this, because obviously he does look at, with a Pat's traded, coming from Pat's background, we don't tend to pay too much attention at previous days because we're going for such a small move, but obviously we're going for bigger moves now. I got to say, it's so much more relaxing trading this. Pat's is just like walking on bloody eggshells. So we got a bounce here, a second bounce. If we can get a third bounce, that'd be 2 legs back on the NQ. We may get a leg up there. Hopefully we will. Just trying to see if there's a bigger channel. No, maybe not. So if we can get a bounce here, stop probably below there, out comfortably before the highs, I'd have a go at that. And that's, say, $40. So I'd have a go at 2 contracts there if that works. 2 legs. 1, 2. That will be a triple test. We've got to break new high. 1, 2, 3. So I'll have a go for 2 contracts. So that'd be about $80. So let's
Order
get an order
submitted.
ready. Just see if we get a bounce here. Be nice to get a little break from this micro as well, and then a bounce there, which we may be getting, hopefully. Trouble is, if there is a bit of a channel up there, it may not get this low, it may just bounce, but I can't see one, so I'm hoping we bounce here, break below there, and then buyers get in. I suppose that's why it's useful to have bookmap, isn't it? But we've got a channel up with a break, 2 attempts to go higher, which may fail. That's the problem, isn't it? That's another trade he takes, isn't it? We have a break, 2 attempts to push higher, but we've actually pushed higher, haven't we? So so this will be a leg and a leg, somewhere along those lines. See what happens here. Channel break, new low. Might not be a bad option to go here.
Order
Yes, I'm going to do
submitted.
it. Let's put that there. And let's put this. Goes higher, doesn't it? Got to get this right. The order's there, isn't it? So that goes. That's the trouble. Actually, no. Let's go more there. I don't really want to wait till that high. 1, 2, 3. It is a triple test. Let's see if it holds anyway. I'm in. When it gets to those highs, I may follow up with me stop if it gets to those highs. It is 2 attempts to go lower. As it's 2 attempts, it may push up a bit higher, so we'll see. Just going to put that there. I've taken the risk off now. Let's put it as close as I can to that. I just want to take the risk off until I get used to this. It is 2 banks. It should push up. Okay, that's encouraging. I can't see it coming down much lower now. A leg and a leg. Let's put it there. So above here and push. Come on. That's the beauty of this. I can take risk off. It's above here. It may push then. Come on. Let's put it there. You know what? Let's just leave it where it is. Can't be pissing around all the time. Let's just leave it where it is. Trouble is, I don't want it to take me out, only to push up there. The signal's right. We got a leg up, 2 legs back. Once we get that push above here, then I can bring it to there. But this looks like it's working up in a channel, so the last 2 trades, if I'd have just left them, they would have worked. Once we get up to the highs, I'll bring my stop up then just in case, because I'd like to be out before the highs, really. I was struggling to go anywhere now. Excuse me a sec. Okay, 1, 2, 3. That's a good sign. Nice strong bullish bar. That's looking good on the NQ. Come on, push up. That's a clear triple test. Trouble is, we're failing up here as well, and that's what worries me. Big strong bar there. We're struggling to go anywhere. Hmm. Now I'm getting out of this.
Order filled.
I'm I'm struggling with this. My only issue I have is we've had a break. We've made 2 attempts to go higher, and we've pushed down. We haven't quite got up to the highs, and we're already down again. So I'm just wondering whether I'm reading this wrong. We're struggling to get up at the moment, and my profit would have been up here. So I like the triple test, but we've had a break of this channel. 1, 2, 3 attempts to push higher, and it's struggling. And I'm just wondering whether this ES is starting to go a little bit sideways for me. That may work. Perhaps I should have just left it. It's the uptrend, had 2 legs up to a new high, dangerous to long. Yeah, that's why I got out, mate. Break, 2 attempts to push higher. The 3rd attempt didn't get high. That's why I got out. I got out for a couple of ticks, but yeah, I agree. I forgot that, yeah, it's a couple of attempts to go lower, but the channel's already broken and we've had 2 attempts to push up. So yeah, I agree. I think what's helped this is that bounce there. Your second leg you drew belongs higher. Second leg. I'm not sure what you mean there, bud. The second leg you drew begins higher than the first, so it's a double top. I see what you mean. Yeah. I think that's what you're on about, isn't it? Test would have been where you might take an entry, but not before that. Yeah, agreed. When it did that, I started feeling a bit more confident then, but I've still got that in my head, which Penguin talks about. We got a break, made 2 attempts to go higher, which failed. So ordinarily, you wouldn't be thinking about long. But yeah, the triple test, that's the only encouraging thing to push up, isn't it? 56.50 would have been where I'd have got out. So after the push up, we've now made 3 attempts. So yeah, this may fail. So I think I made the right decision to get out of that. I forget, although we have 2 attempts, it's usually after we've had a break, we have 2 attempts to go lower and push up. This has already had a break, in which case we had 2 attempts to push higher. I think the only thing, we had the 2 attempts. This 3rd attempt only got up to the open and failed quite quickly, but then we had a nice strong bar there, which tells me there have been some buyers there. But I think the overall, with a break, 2 attempts to push higher, it may fail. So I think that's why I got out of it. But that's fine. I got no problem. The beauty about having, I could have just risked 56. So it happened. I risked 100 odd, but I ended up getting a couple of ticks. I think I'm about $14 up all in all. $14, $15 up. But that's okay. I have traded Penguin on and off. But some of his setups are very clear. And others not so much. Did you take a short up here by any chance, did you, Crypto? Because actually I didn't mind that. We kind of had that move down, and we had a bunch of a little bit of chop, but that was the sort of bigger move, and then eventually down it came. So I don't think that was kind of a terrible entry. And then we had that second leg down there. And that moved down, didn't we? 2 clear attempts, both of them kind of breaking previous highs there, and obviously that one breaking previous highs, and then we had one more test and then down it shot. Been watching ES and have not taken anything yet today, not watching NQ so much. What tick charts are you using, bud, on the ES? Yeah, so the triple test would have been the entry. That wouldn't have been because of the two highs, yeah. Pickle juice, 500 on the ES, so I've got the 1250. Are you trading ES or MES? Multi-day context, yeah. The short there was great, especially with the multi-process. I think that was a decent reversal area. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I just kind of just left it at the time. AES. Does your chart look much different to mine? 500, so there'll be a lot more detail in the 500. Let's have a look at the 500. I haven't got it at the moment. Let's change it. Tick. Penguin Trace 500 on the ES and 250 on the NQ. I'm sure someone said he's temporarily. Let me have a look. 500. Okay, I'm sure someone said if you're studying PT and try to get some trades, he uses ES 500 NQ lately, although he's been looking usually the NQ 1000 and the ES 2000. So that's the 500. Does that look any different? Not so much different, does it? The only trouble is with the smaller tick charts is when you kind of get the bigger picture, you can't see the individual bars, but it looks pretty similar. Yeah, that's probably a bit too much information I need there. Let's put the 1200. I think really you could probably trade penguin style on all of these really, the 1000, the 2000, the 500, the 1250, whatever. That's a little bit less information, but still giving us clearly two pictures. So two clear legs up and that one worked for a second leg down. So I don't think that was a bad entry. All in all now, I'm glad I got out of that. We still haven't hit the profit. Now this leg down and leg down, if it breaks these lows, especially that one there, it may come down. So, so far I haven't hit my profit. So I'm kind of glad I got out there with a little bit of profit. But yeah, that I think looked nice. Leg down. I mean, if I was trading the 250 on the MNQ, it'd be hard to see all this. But two clear legs up, a leg down, two clear attempts to push up. We broke above this, and when it broke above all this liquidity here, and it pushed down, you know, I think an entry here. It did come back, didn't it? But if you'd have stopped, would have been up here, you'd have been safe anyway. And then down it came. So leg down. So it'd be interesting to see if he does short this somewhere, because I know sometimes he'll enter right on the measured move and put his stop up here. Other times he'll wait for the move below the EMA to kind of give us that impression that price is now starting to move south. So looks pretty similar. I agree with the perfect context. Two legs. All you need is take a good trade. Trade's very nice strategy. Yeah. I've been watching him on and off for a couple of years, and I have had times where I've traded his strategy on and off, and in some cases, some of these smaller legs like this are very similar to Pat's, and the whole thing's very similar to Pat's. I've been trading Pat's for 4 years, but I'm just struggling with it. There's just no room for manoeuvre. You know, the trouble is with Pat's, and you're waiting for a signal bar, you don't know whether it's going to be 8 ticks or 28 ticks. And if you're trading a contract, you can't adjust it. Whereas if I can go here and say I'm going to enter here, my stop's going to be below there. Straight away, it's telling me one contract on the MS is $32. If I want to risk $100, I go for 3 contracts. So you can plan ahead, and I can get my risk exactly where I'm comfortable. Trouble is, trading one mini, trading Pat's, you could be risking, you know, $100, you could be risking $300, and it's just so hard. And what I find is, I'm just, as soon as I'm in a trade, I'm thinking about getting out the damn thing. It works on all time frames, but ES 2000 is printing poorly since tariff things. Yeah, agreed. So I've got this, the MES or ES, whatever you want to call it, at 1250 and the NQ or MNQ at 1000. That kind of feels nice, doesn't move too quick. It's still quite clear. So I am glad I got out of that now. If that breaks below there, it may come lower. I mean, that broke below all this and cleared out any liquidity. So if this thing does come below there, it may attack my stop. So I think I made the right decision. Break, 2 attempts to push higher. I should have been thinking about going short. That one, maybe. But if you'd have got in short there, I'd have probably put my stop there. It is 2 legs down, and obviously that clearly would have worked. You know, some trades he does enter after the signal bar, doesn't he? And then other trades after a measured move, if we're clearly moving up. Other trades he'll kind of enter here when he put his stop there. And the good thing about doing that is you are out nice and early. So if it doesn't get that full move to the top, at least there's a good chance of getting your profit. I got to say, it's much more relaxing trading this, and it's very, very similar to Pat's, which is another reason why I like it. And he reads these charts, Penguin, doesn't he, like a bloody palm reader reads someone's hand. He's very good. Let's have a look. Somebody took a trade there. It's based on Pat's, but he identified how to use it. Pat's capture large targets, risk reward, not much different. Win percentage, yeah. Now that's interesting, because I had my chart like that, didn't I? Now look at that. Now look at this. Someone's taken a trade here. I'm not sure it is, and it's identical to what I've marked there. Bigger move up, 2 attempts to go lower. He's entered there after the move up, but I actually don't mind that, because the beauty of that, once we're above the EMA, after 2 legs down, there's a really good chance we get up here. So if your stop's at that low there, it's probably the safest way. So I'm glad he's kind of looked at the same, exactly the same picture that I have. I like that. Oh no, okay. He's taken that. So what I like about this as well is I struggle to find good setups on Pats, and I can go a day and a half sometimes without taking a trade. Horizontal lines rule, no trend lines needed. No trend lines. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. So I don't really need that anyway, do we? So this, it's still holding here, isn't it? So the guy that's in this trade, is he out yet or not? That it may not be out yet. Have a look. Where's he out? $42.75. So yeah, he'd have been out there. So right, okay, yeah, I think he took. It is ES 500. So I think he took. Something around here. I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head, but he's trading that. Interesting though. That's enters blindly at the measured move only when it has confluence with other things within the chart, like measured move near to confirm trend lines. Yeah. So if we get a really nice clear leg down or channel down and we get 2 perfect measured legs up, I think that's a time where he could probably enter a trade there. There's a wide down trend, that's the target. Thinking about wide downtrend here. Possibly. See, I'm thinking 2 legs. This is likely to push higher, but it does look like it's losing momentum, that one. Would I have noticed that straight away? Not necessarily. See, my gut feeling is after this... See, it's funny, there's another guy in here who's kind of identified the same thing I'm looking at. Channel up with 2 legs down. So based on this, see, from a Pats trader, I can see that as a channel up to the top, up to the top. We didn't get to the top there, so I'd expect a break, and that's kind of what we've got. So my gut feeling then was going to say we're going to push up and test these highs, but in looking at the price action, it does look like we are struggling to go higher, so you may be right. You may be right. Let's change that colour. Violet. Sounds a bit girly. What's that look like? See, there almost looks like there's a bigger head shoulder there, so you may be right. This thing may drop. See what happens here. So what I like about, I've got on one of my wide screens, I've got the general overall. Let me just flick over quickly. This is my other chart, or one of my other widescreen at the top. So I've got both of them over the last sort of, well, ES over the last 4 days, just giving me an overall kind of impression. And obviously we got more bars in here because the smaller. This is the 2000 at the top, and this is the 1000. So, I mean, in the overall at the moment, we're kind of just more or less ranging, aren't we, over the last sort of few days. But I like that, just to give me just a brief overall. But we have got a leg up here with a bunch of attempts, so we may, on this bigger chart, we may get a second leg up there, up to these highs here. I'm guessing if we can get above here, prices usually go up to the next level, which... there's definitely a level there, no question. So we've broken below all this, haven't we? Lows of the day, so we may get a second leg up here, which same again. Now I know this is the NQ and that's the ES, but if the NQ pushes up to that second leg, the ES will follow it, or at least to a degree. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. For me, I'd say hold on, what am I looking at here? That's the MNQ 1000 tick. This is the MNQ 1000 tick. So we've had that leg down. Yeah, we could get another leg up. It is like a bull flag. Often when we push up like that, we make a bunch of bounces and eventually it does push up. And if that does come up to these highs here, I can't see this continuing in a downtrend. So I'm on the fence about that being a downtrend. You may be right. The market is possible goal with the yesterday's late low. It takes a while to get from Pats to Penguins style trade because Pats can't see the forest for the tree. You're not wrong. It's only dialed in to technically to the 2000 tick chart. Don't get frustrated if you miss stuff. No, I'm quite okay. I think the last couple of days I took about 4 or 5 trades yesterday. That's more trades than I take in a week trading Pats, I got to say. But I think I'm just probably getting a bit excited. But I tell you what, I feel trading this straight away is massive relief. It's like trading Pats for me lately is like walking on eggshells. Whereas this, obviously going for bigger moves, and not just that, you take a short here, put your stop down there. You can, if you've misread the market, you can get out early for a lower risk. But it's just, as I say, with Pats, you're governed by the signal bar, and if that's a strong move, that signal bar could be 30 ticks. In fact, some cases, that's the case. I'd only be risking 300 or 400 on a trade. And I love this because you can work out your risk. You know, if you want to get in here somewhere, you've got plenty of opportunities. So it is doing what I think it's doing. So I think this is going to push higher now. Unfortunately, there's no kind of real entry. Now, what I will say is, although we had a break in 2 new highs, so this wouldn't have been the area to long, but I did long, and I think I got an order in here somewhere and put my stop there. In fact, what was it about here? Because I wanted that to come back a bit, but another trade that would have worked. That's the beauty about having bigger stops sometimes. You know, a lot of the time, as we know, if you get into a trade here, it'll come back, stop you out, and end up going the same direction. So that trade would have worked, actually. So the 3 trades I've got into today all would have worked. Now, whether that's just pure luck because I got out of the trades and had I stayed in them, but the beauty is we are struggling to go anywhere. It doesn't necessarily mean it won't come down, but when we've had a push up into this range, often we'll go a bit higher. So people watching the Pats video are just gaslighting themselves because it makes trading look so easy, but all the markups are done in hindsight. Yeah. I think that's why I know a lot of the people that join me on the stream don't even watch them anymore. And I know when I started trading Pats just over 4 years ago, I started to feel inferior. Why am I not seeing a dozen trades in a day? The simple answer is there isn't that many, because in real time you don't know what's going to happen. If you look at a chart after, you can't unsee it. I can clearly see there's a triple test there, and from a Pats trader, it's a 100% trade. Triple test from Mac's point of view, and more or less a second entry long. It's a trade, but in hindsight, you don't know. That would have been a trade that I think I would have ordinarily taken on Pats. But I just don't see a lot of good trades. And not only that, lately, the market is so damn choppy. And if your patience sometimes gets the better of you, which it does, take every second entry that wins. Yeah, so flick it over to this other chart. It's doing exactly what I thought it would do. Chop around a bit and eventually push up to this area here. So the beauty is about being, coming from a Pats background, we are kind of chart readers. We don't just think about, okay, there's a level here, let's drop a short in. You know what I mean? We do sort of watch the way the market works. So that's what I kind of like. I'm relatively accurate when it comes to seeing things like that so far. And that does give you that little bit more confidence getting into trades. But that's interesting, that. By the way, are you using Renko bars? Me? No, bud. Was that that comment taken? Oh, I think that might have been to Karina. Sorry, I'm answering Karina. Mifflin Brooks videos reviews. So we haven't quite got to this area now. We haven't quite got to this area up here. So if we can get a couple of legs down, something like that, we may get an option to get up there somehow. I'll see. So yeah, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm not thinking, no disrespect to getting rid of that channel, but I'm not thinking channel at the moment. I'm thinking bigger overall move up, couldn't get, see, we're at the top. I like it because we've got a touch here, a touch here, a touch here, touch at the top. In fact, 2 little bounces right off it, a touch here. And this move up, we didn't quite have the buyers to get up. Now, when that happens as a Pats trader, I know 9 times out of 10 at least, unless it gets quite close, you'll get a break. And we clearly got a break in the way of 2 legs. So I think that entry, in hindsight now, was a good entry. And the last couple of trades I've got in a bit early, and I said to myself, next time, let's wait for it to come to me, and look what happened. It never did. So I think if it's relatively clear like that, maybe that's the time to get in a bit earlier. I would have only need to put my stop below there. So if I just jumped in there, my stop would go there. I'm out plenty of time. That's the beauty about this. If you do get in early, you're out early. So with the bigger picture, be interesting to see if he marks that, or whether it fills him. Pat's concepts are correct. Trends ranges, pricing moves in 2s, but the way it's taught on 1 lesson support, yeah. I think Mac, I don't know, Mac, I think is an absolutely genuine, lovely guy, but I don't think he's a teacher. Some people can teach, some people can't, can they? You know, I feel like I kind of wanted more from him. I'd like him to talk more about what he's seen or what he's feeling. And that's no disrespect to Mac, so I don't want you haters. Mac taught me to trade, and I'll be forever grateful. So that's not a diss towards Mac. It's just an observation, that's all. So I'm hoping we may get something like this. A couple of legs back. And then continue on again. I suppose what we're doing really is testing these highs somewhere in about there. So hopefully, if we can get maybe a second leg down, we may get an option to go long, because looking at that bigger picture there, leg up with sideways, I think there's a good chance we get up into this area up here. This sort of browned out area where there's obviously a key level up there. In fact, some of you Pats guys may take that. I'm leaving it. I'm looking for a second leg. It's not looking so good now. On that NQ, there is a little micro there with a break and a new low. Trouble is, depending on how you've got this chart, there's going to be some who argue there's already a break there, and I think there probably is, which I think why this bullish bar here or this second entry long may fail. It may hold. I'm kind of hoping it pushes up a little bit and then comes down for a second leg, somewhere along those lines. But all of a sudden, that's not looking so rosy now. I think, to be fair, there is a break at a new high there, but it may hold because there is support along here. So sometimes it just takes a little bit of time to kind of move, doesn't it? Take every second entry, that wins. Good advice. Are you talking about Pats, are you, bud? Or are you on about the range? Oh, okay. It's all right. I know there was a couple of people talking about the 40 tick range. Okay, so I'm hoping now we make another attempt to come down. Whether we will or not, I don't know, because there's a second entry long followed by a high-low there. But I think there's a break from that channel, so that may come down for a second leg. I have a feeling it's going to. We'll see. But there is a second entry, but I've gotten to trades like that before and haven't noticed we've had a break. So if you follow those bars up, I think it's fair to say we have had a break, which would make that a little bit risky. But it may just hold anyway. We got a leg up sideways, so I think the general direction is upwards at the moment. I'd have just preferred to do that, come down and clear this liquidity out and then give us a bounce up. But I don't think it's going to. No. Okay, so second entry long did work. The trouble is we have had a break, so I couldn't bring myself to take that. Let me just see if anybody took that. Any Pat's guys took that. I don't think a lot of them trade the NQ, so that's a no then. Yeah, some of them definitely took that triple test. And rightly so. I think that was a nice setup now. The triple test, that one, I think it looked clearer on the NQ. I mean, let's discard this. 1, 2, 3. It was a second entry long. Mac would take that 100%. It looked a little bit clearer on the NQ, in all fairness. It wasn't so clear here, but it is a second entry long, and you can argue it's a triple test, I suppose. Mac probably would. 1, 2, 3, and it clearly worked. You can see there's definitely a bit of support there. I'm just hoping we get an entry for us. First break, 2 legs back, second entry long, triple test, couldn't pass it. Yeah, I don't blame you, mate. I don't blame you. And break of the spike and channel. Yeah. Yeah, we see that pattern all the time, up across and up, don't we? It's kind of a bull flag, really, isn't it? We see that everywhere. I mean, that's really in a lot of cases the basis for a bigger range, a bigger trend channel up to the top, and then back again and up to the top. That's quite obvious. They're not always that obvious, are they? But it's a little bit more obvious here on the it's not brilliant. I don't like that area there, but I'm guessing this is more just 2 legs up. So we want 2 legs down here. Something like that. I got to get that tool off Jan again. I like the legs he has. So somewhere along those lines. Chan up with a break and a second leg down. Trouble is, you don't know how high this second leg's going to go. After that leg down and these pushes up and that big move there, you can bet your bottom dollar there'll be a bunch of stops around that area. In fact, if I looked on Bookmap on the ES, I dare say can you see stops? I don't know actually, but I think you probably see liquidity there. But it's 2 legs down. The overall picture for me, it's is up, I think, temporarily anyway. Okay, so there's the little micro. There's the break. And this is the move down. I'd have preferred to trigger that bull bar there, but there'll have been one there. There's a second entry there. So if we can get down here, leg and a leg, that might not be a bad entry. And not only that, there may be a larger channel up. There may be a spike and a channel up there. In which case, a leg and a leg may, we'll see. Ah, leg and a leg. That's interesting.
Order submitted.
Let me just go down to one here. That's not done what I was hoping. So if I put my stop down here, profit out here, $40 odd.
Order cancelled.
I don't like what that bar did there. It's not, it is two legs down, isn't it? Let's have a look. A leg and a leg. Let's have
Order
a go.
submitted.
Let's put that there. Let's just sort this out. I'm only doing it for one contract. So there was the order. Stop down below there. Profit there. $30. That's, I can live with that. It is two clear legs down. We got a chance with a break and a new low. I don't like the fact that we lost that little bit there. But this is, if this is a channel, I can't see it coming down much lower. But in fact, you know what? I think that's probably a safer place to put that. It's still only $37, so I'd rather get it right. That's quite a strong bounce off there after two legs, so I'm all right with that. As I say, $30 odd risk, I can live with that. So there's the measured move. In fact, it's a little bit higher. That goes there. That goes there. There's the measured move. Okay, that's a better option. Somewhere along those lines anyway. Leg and a leg. Hope it bounces. Yeah, I'm only risking $37, so that's fine. I'm not sure about this channel, but I think the trade should be okay. I think we'll see anyway. I think that's the safest place for it there. If it was clearer, super clear, that's the beauty I like about micros. I'm risking $30 odd here. If it was clearer, I could double that and risk $60, or if it was absolutely fantastic, I could do 3 or 4. So I've got options here, and if I think I've read the market wrong and someone better than me says, no, you made a mistake with doing this, I could get out for less of a risk. Then I could drop it there and get out for a lot less. So I think that's fine. You know, I still think the bigger picture is up to these highs, and it's, you know, sometimes we are going to get a bit of a break along the way, and it just clears out some liquidity. So I think that's okay. And if it does push up strong, I may even bring my profit up to here stop up to here and raise my profit a bit. We'll see. Couple of legs there. There's bound to be some liquidity up here, so I think we're okay anyway. And as I say, $37 doesn't bother me in the slightest. It's not super clear. It probably wouldn't have been the best option, but I can see a leg with a break and a new low. But there's always a possibility I've misjudged this and there could be something like that, which is a little bit lower. So let me just get rid of this at the moment. That's the safest place, I think, anyway. Although not so much. But that's okay. That's the beauty about trading micros. I can adjust this.
Order
it's weird how
filled.
it comes down and takes you out right to the tick. And now it'll push. That's okay. So even on the day, I'm only down $33 after fees, so that's fine. So right down to support. So may get something like that. We'll see. Weird, isn't it? It just took this liquidity out and now it's holding. I post my NQ chart in case it helps you. Where have you posted it, bud? Where do you post it, bud? And it weird, look, it's taken out that liquidity then bounced. That's weird. Okay, got you. Yeah, it's just picked off that liquidity. Perhaps below there would have been a better option, but that's fine anyway. Price is trying to fade the small range. Yeah. Isn't it weird? If I'd have put mine a bit lower than there, maybe with the bounce there, I should have put that bit lower. Let's see if it makes another attempt to come down. So that would have worked. Well, it certainly would have had a better chance of working if I'd have gone down a few extra ticks. I think I was below there, about there. So what's that? Might say a few extra ticks. 5 points, 4.5 points. Not a lot, actually, in the big scheme of things. I got you. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, I see. Thanks, bud. Yeah, you are trading the 2.5, aren't you? 250. I've got the 1,000. Not a huge amount of difference, actually. Yeah, cheers for that, bud. I appreciate that. It better go up now. Surely that's 2 reactions to go down. I'm hoping we get a second attempt here. Yeah, see, if there was enough highs, getting in here wouldn't be a bad option. Stop below here, but you'd have to get above those highs, wouldn't you? I mean, it's pushed down, it's bounced solidly off there, it's taken any liquidity and had a solid bounce. So now it's pushed above that EMA. Is that a trade he may take? Trouble is, there's no room to the highs, so I don't know whether that makes much of a difference. This is interesting, lag and a lag. So here's the break. 2 attempts to push high. If it is a channel, I'm not even convinced it is. First move down, it's all one leg. Consider that a leg, and this a leg as well, yeah? So you can sit, you're seeing that as one whole move, are you? First attempt to make a new low. The first move down. Are you on about a move down with a break? First attempt. Got you. Yeah, got you. All right, I was thinking this and that. Finding some support across there as well, aren't we? So if we've had support there, often we will have a couple of attempts before it pushes up. So yeah, see that one? If I've got this as a spike in a channel, we've got a break and a new high. That's what I'm seeing there. So that would be one attempt, wouldn't it? That would be a second attempt. That's what it looks like there. I don't know, right, that is. Or if you keep that like that, we've had an overshoot, in which case there may be a correction. Break, new high. Yeah. Not even convinced of that channel, to be honest with you. Just wondering whether, depending on what this is, we've had a break, 2 attempts to push higher. So is this somewhere along those lines? Leg down, 2 attempts to push higher, followed by a second leg down. Yes, I did. Yeah, we had those. We had a channel down with a break and a leg, and I went in long gear. I put my stop below there, and it took me out for a little bit and ended up pushing up. But I think that's the Pats trader in me. It is 2 legs down, but it's a very small move, so that's the Pats trader in me, I think. Channel break, new low. So, but that's fine. It was I think the whole risk was $40, something like that. I'm only down $32 on the day on after fees, so I'm only trading this on 1 contract unless it's super clear. We have got support along here, so this may drop. So we got this move down. There is a possibility. I just had this and then deleted it, but there is a possibility we got this move down. 2 attempts to push higher. Is this going to fail? Probably say that's too thin to view as 2 legs where you took your trade. That one there, yeah, I'd agree with you. That's, as I was just saying, I think that's the Pats trader in me. It is 2 little legs, but that's more of a Pats trader's trading it, which didn't work incidentally, but it's probably because we made 2 pushes to a new high, but yeah, there's going to be some teething problems, but as long as I keep these risks small, unless trades really obvious. I mean, the trouble is with Pats, if you were going to take that as a signal bar, look at the size of that signal bar. Well, it's not as big as I thought. It's 5.5 points. I'd be risking $275 on 1 contract there. It's just too much. Bearing in mind, that's on the 1250 chart, may look a bit more. But, high time frame chart, look at those bigger legs. Use a higher time frame chart and look for those bigger legs. Yeah, I will. I'm going to make a couple more over the weekend, a couple of smaller ones at the weekend. I haven't got the space at the moment. Chris, sorry, mate. Yeah, I'm just struggling with Pats lately. As you know, I've messed around with a Penguin for a while. I did trade it for a couple of 3 weeks, solidly a year or two ago. But the last couple of 2.5 weeks in the evenings, I've been trading them. It's almost identical to Max. It's very similar, but just bigger stops, and it's easy to manage the risk and get exactly the risk you want, which is near damn impossible. So yeah, I've gone more over to Penguin now, but I just can't make. I've made money at trading Pats, but it's been scrappy and it's stressful as hell. So this is just so much better. It's just, there's so many things you can do with this. Bigger stops, you can get out early. Trading micros, if it's working well, you can add to it. You can take away. If he tends to use this tool. If I'm thinking about taking a trade here, one micro is $26. If I do 4 micros, I'm risking just over $100. So I can adjust this accordingly. You can't do that really with Pats because you never know what size that signal bar is going to be. And not only that, if you misjudge it, a lot of times it will stop you straight out. Whereas even a trade I took earlier on this NQ, I got in here, I put my stop down here, eventually worked. With Pats, if you got in there, sometimes it'll stop you out before it goes in the direction. And I got sick of that happening. Whereas with this, because of the slightly bigger stops, the chance of that happening is a lot slimmer. So, yeah, I've been kind of doing this during the day over this last week. And to be fair, with the exception of yesterday, I had 5 green days in a row. So yesterday I just took too many trades. That was the answer. But with Pats, quite often I get the direction right, just not the entry, because I end up getting stopped out before. Also patch the commissions on 1 micro. It's 1 tick pretty much. If you make 3 ticks, risk to reward, that's a very high, very taxing mentally. Yeah, absolutely. There's just so many more benefits to trading this way. You can, the big one for me is risk and having time to think about a trade. You don't have to get into a trade within a second. If I like a trade here, I could have got in on this bar on a limit order. I could have gotten on this bar, or I could still get in on a limit order. You've got options. Or if I was putting my stop down here and profit up here, I could get in now if I wanted to. Now we're above the EMA. So you can't do with that Pats. Pats is a one-shot deal. If you get it wrong, there's no room for error. So I'm not running it down. I know there are people who do well at it. I made 30,000 this year trading that, but I just found it so stressful, and lately I've just been struggling with it because price has been so damn choppy. You've really got to call on your patience, and I seem to be struggling with it lately, so I've just decided just to move. I gave Pats 4 years. It's not like I didn't, try and put the effort in. I spent countless hours and late nights looking at charts and watching videos and studying and micros. Yeah, absolutely. As I said a few times, if you'd have told me I'd been trading 2 micros 4 weeks ago, I'd have called you mad. But that's the beauty, you can, because these are in increments. There's 10 of these to 1 mini, so you can trade 1, 2, 3. You can break it down so much better to get the exact risk that you want. You can't do that with Pats. You never know what your risk's going to be till the signal bar. So so many books I've read that say you always got to keep your risk the same and the same percentage. It doesn't work with Pats. You can't do it. That's what I like about this. Yeah, I mean, most of you guys know I've talked about Penguin many, many times and his trades, and that this is a Penguin setup and that's a Penguin setup. So you guys know I've been watching him for a long time. So is this second push down? Bar size indicator in the bar. Big, I didn't enter. Yeah, there's probably things you can do, but you need to keep control of your risk, because there's nothing worse than losing $300 on a trade because you've entered on a large signal bar. You know, I can have a $40 trade, a $60 trade, $100. You know what? If the setup's really good and very clear, I can add an extra contract or two. Or if I'm going for a larger move, I can add if it pushes up and bring me stop. There's multiple options. So looking for a second leg down here to hopefully push up. So really we've had 2 bounces there. Third one will be nice. It's not been the easiest couple of days. I think the best trade was that one, I think. After this big move up, the 2 legs down there. Trouble is, I decided to become patient and wait for it to get to me, and it didn't. It just absolutely took off. So with this move up over the last sort of day or so, you clearly see it tested. And at the top nice as well. Didn't quite get to the top. And as we know, in an uptrend or downtrend, if it doesn't have the legs to get to the top, often that leads to a break. And we did 2 nice legs down and then woof, up it went. So that would have been the trade, I think. It's okay. There's some teething problems and I'm learning more and more. I haven't traded it full time properly. As close as it is to max, there's still a little bit of time it takes to, you know, to swap over. So ideally, we want this to come back down here. Accept the risk and let the trade breathe. Yeah, I need to. In fact, the 3 trades I've taken, 2 I got out for a couple of 3 ticks or 4 or a point or so here. Both of them would have worked. So I need to do that. Just keep the risk low and just let it in. I think I got in there. But because we'd had the break, and I do hear Penguin talk about that break and 2 attempts to push higher. Often, in certain circumstances, he's short. But I looked at the 2 attempts to push on. I got in there with a stop below that swing there. But fortunately, we had 2 legs down at a big, strong bullish bar, which never got broken. Eventually, profit was up here. Eventually, it would have worked. Mac just posted a student trade, did he really? I do find it heartbreaking when I see people traders scalping for a point. You know, I know that's the way he teaches, but it's just ironic how, you know, in most cases now, it's not unusual to risk 4 or 5 or 6 points that you're only taking. And for a newer trader, It's mind crippling, that. You know, I used to, when I first started Pat's, you know, a lot of the time I'd look at his videos and trade for a point, and I remember once clearly, 4 winning trades in a row. Really took me time. I was really pleased with myself. Lost the 5th one. I ended up in the red. You wouldn't expect one trade to wipe out 4, but that's a common occurrence now. And anything in life, whatever you're doing, whether it's a business, it's ironic that you can say your risk bar is bigger, but your profit bar isn't. Every bar's bigger, which means the profit's bigger as well. You know, if you had a store or supermarket at something like that, and you were buying eggs at $2, and all of a sudden, you know, selling them at $3, and all of a sudden the eggs went up to $4. If you kept selling them at $3, sooner or later you'd run out of money. You have to adjust your profit. You know, I know even people like Dan and Marco that go for 6 ticks. I think when a lot of that, you know, the stuff was coming out about the tariffs, I think even they upped their profit. You've got to up your profit to match your risk. Otherwise, unless you're an exceptionally good trader, you're going to get crucified. You know, we were looking at 6, 8, 10, 12 bars. I don't see how you can, you know, risk 10 points, only take a point. It comes over as madness to me, but that's just my opinion. You know, I know not everyone thinks that way. So we're into that area now. If I flick onto this NQ that I marked up earlier, that's where I expected price to go, and it's just nicked into it and dropped out, and now we're in it at the moment. So I would expect that's the top of that measured move. We've got to push up sideways. So I'd expect some sellers to come in here soon. At least temporarily. I can't see that going. It's going to find some resistance there for sure. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there. Matt keeps saying we're not pattern traders, but I've found success. We're not pattern traders, but it doesn't hurt to look at patterns because, you know, lots of traders use patterns. So, you know, it doesn't hurt. It may just give you the confidence to, you know, to trade a certain way. Where was that? Head and shoulders I saw earlier. There, head and shoulders pattern on the NQ. About clear as day, that. Shoulder, head, shoulder. It's a bearish pattern. Woof, down it came. So if you're looking at 2 legs down, we're clearly struggling to get up here. Shoulder, head, shoulder. If you want a short here, that extra picture, that picture may give you the more confidence to get in and to maybe even hold it, because I guarantee there'll be traders looking at that short in here. Market wouldn't have done that otherwise. So, in fact, it's funny, Mac actually mentioned that, didn't he, head and shoulders the other day? He saw a perfect one. He said he doesn't really look at patterns, but if you're thinking about head and shoulders, that's certainly one to look at. So it may just, and that obviously that's a pattern as well. It's a bull flag. We see that all the time. Push up, go sideways, push up. We see it all the time. And a bear flag as well, the complete opposite. We push down, we go sideways, we push down. It's a picture as a price action as well as any trader that you see all the time. Push down, sideways, push down, push up, sideways, push up. So that's an inverse, probably one of the most common patterns you hear talked about there, bull flag and a bear flag. So if you're thinking to go long here in a bull flag, the chance of it pushing up is a lot better. So I'd certainly rather go long off the bottom than go short off the top. And you create your own system. Most people are absolutely. That's one thing I've started to realize. You don't have to necessarily follow anyone. You can find your own way of doing this. You know, you could do a bit of Pats, a bit of Penguin. You could trade a bit of any old way, really. You know, once you're used to seeing how price works, you can adapt it to most anything. Certainly enough to give you an edge. The most difficult part that any trader comes across, and to a degree the strategies are relevant, is the ability to take losses and it not to affect them. If you don't have a problem with taking losses, you'll make more or less any type of strategy work. You know, even finding a trend channel and just buying at the bottom. More times than not, it's going to work. If you bought here, it worked. If you bought here, it worked. If you bought here, it pushed up. Now, obviously, you may have got stopped out for a tick there, but, you know, I don't think normal traders, pullback traders, put their stop right below the signal bar that Pats do. Probably go a little bit lower, maybe the previous swing. But if you just buy the market in an uptrend, you'll make money. But the thing that stops most traders, well, probably 98% of traders that, probably 95% of traders that fail, you know, most of them are because they can't accept losses, can't take losses. I know exactly what it feels like. I've had that problem myself for a long time. Pat's Penguin, Patrick. There's so many ways you can do it. You know, that strategy that I noticed purely by accident. Whenever you get a move up like this, whenever you get a bearish bar in a channel like that, you can more or less trade it. This type of thing, you get a bearish bar in here, you can trade it, more or less worked. I don't really see one there, but that's something I've watched on and off for a long time. Can't see it at the moment, there's not a lot here, but whenever you get that type of channel, whenever you get a bullish bar there, if you just sold at the close of the bar, it worked. There, cut the point risk, cut the point profit, sold at the close of the bar, pushed up a little bit, then came down. Once you sit in front of these charts long enough, you'll notice things. And you can do so much with it, really. So on this other chart now, excuse me, that's that measured move that I marked earlier. We're more or less at it now. We're certainly into this level, so it'd be interesting to see how the market reacts up here. You know, if you shorted any of this area here, put your stop above there, every single one of it worked if you went 1-to-1. You jumped in here, put your stop above there, work 1-to-1. Same with that one. Same with that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. That one as well. Be interesting to see if this works. I'll be surprised if we get some selling here. But there is, once you start noticing things, you kind of never go back. How many times as a Pats trader do we go, we know where it's going, we just can't enter because there's no signal bar, and it ends up doing the same thing, that we kind of know what's going to happen. It does frustrate me that 9 times out of 10, if we push up in an area we don't get a signal bar, 8 times out of 10 we don't get a signal bar, and it ends up doing what we think it's going to do anyway, or what we're pretty sure it's going to do. So now, if this channel is within there, that's an overshoot which may get reaction. If it's like that, we've had a break, 2 pushes up to a new high, so we may get a reaction. We're not far off at the highs of the day, so we may get a reaction. That NQ, we know there's an area here, so we may get a reaction. So everything at the moment is pointing to us lightly going short. That measured move isn't far off. May get a bit higher, which that would take us on the ES to the highs of the day. It's hard to say, really. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Clearly see that, can't you? We may do something the same. Shoulder, head, shoulder, and then down. Who knows? Once you watch price enough, it does become predictable. There are some days where it tends to randomly bounce all over the place, giving you nothing, but this is relatively clear today, isn't it? When you got a bit of experience, we're moving up. You can clearly see, couldn't get to the top, so we had a break, 2 legs down, pushing up, looking for the highs. So we kind of know where it's going. It's just finding some sort of a suitable entry. Because my experience is whenever I've just decided to jump in, it seems to want to trigger you and stop you out. How long have we been going for? Coming up 3 hours. Let's give it another 10 minutes and that might knock it on the head today. So I'm down, excuse me, after commission $33. It's neither in nor there, that. So 2 red days after 5 green days, and I'm down a total of $110 after 2 red days. Yeah, you too, Jan. Take it easy, buddy. This looks like we're losing a bit of momentum here. Looking at that NQ chart, we've been into this area and we've dropped out of it. We've made 1 attempt. Second attempt's got a bit higher. This looks like a shoulder, head, shoulder. I won't be surprised if this thing drops. I won't be surprised at all. We've got a bullish bar there, which is triggered. Twice we've been here and we're out. So it'd be interesting to see now if this drops. But if it drops with 2 legs, would I want to go long into it? Probably not. Getting very close to this measured move. Also been tinkering with entering where people have their stops. David Paul famously said that, didn't he? Instead of trading where you normally trade, put your entrance at your stop and wait and see what happens. Excuse me a sec. Yeah, David Paul said that, didn't he? Sadly, no longer with us. Trying to remember. Yeah, it was David Paul. He's a British guy. He was an ex-Royal Marine, but he traded for some big firms. Big friend of Tom Hugar's, but he said that in an interview. Try putting your entry where your stop would have normally been. You never know what works. People like that don't say that for no reason. So it's always looking. There's so many. You know what I say is the more you learn about trading, the more entries you see, the more you know, that you sit and watch price. It might not be a perfect pat setup, but you know what it's going to do because you've seen it happen 1,000 times. So I feel like I might have now finally shed me stabilizers off, and I might kind of be finding my own way, maybe a bit of pats with the odd triple test, maybe, you know, penguin. But I like the penguin style because it's scaled out, blown out a bit. You're not zoomed in all the, you know, stuck in the middle of the congestion. You can sort of sit back, take a breath and have a look. There is a head and shoulders pattern now on this. I flick over to that NQ, that wide NQ chart, you can see that there, shoulder, head, shoulder. This is where I think if it'll drop, it'll do it. It may not, but be interesting to see. So another 10 minutes and I think I'm done for the day. So it's been an up and down day for me, but even after today, consider this a red day. I'm only down $32 per account. So that's what I like. You know, not much damage. You take a nice strong trade, you get one for the day. You may get up $150. That was my target for the day trading Pats, $150. If I can average even $250 a week per account, it's still $1,000 a month. If you've got 20 accounts, there's plenty of money to be earned. You know, if you can average 100 a day or anything above $250, $250, you can make plenty of money. Davu. Yeah, David Paul, 2 first names. Someone described him. Sadly, he had a heart attack about 2 years ago, just out the blue. Now, he's an ex-Royal Marine. He was a captain in the Royal Marines, so he was always very fit. He said he did an hour in a gym every single day. If anybody doesn't know him, I'll quickly show you. Really fit guy. That guy there. David. Most of you may have seen some of his videos, but the eyes, he's got a picture there with but yeah, sadly not with us. That guy there. So
good afternoon, everyone.
Well. Him I like to watch. Tom Hugard and who's the other guy? The book guy. Sadly no longer with us either. He's gone as well. Yeah, it's a shame. Okay, shoulder, head, shoulder. It's only a small pattern, but you can see it. I don't even think you can view that. You could view that as a move up. 2 attempts to go lower. Trouble is, we've been into that area. We've been into that key level on that wide NQ chart. Yeah, okay, so it's doing what I thought it was going to do. So we pushed up one's shoulder, pushed up one's head, shoulder, and then quick move down. So we've been into this area 3 times, so I don't even think I'd want to look for a long at the moment. But it is reacting to this area, so I think this is where it may start to come down. Clearly see every time it's getting into this area, it's dropped out. It has tried a few times, but as it's a shoulder ahead of a shoulder, I can't see any other traders trying to push that higher. And if you look on the ES channel break, 2 pushes to a new high and a retest. We've got close that measured move. So I think this is probably going to come down at least temporarily. So Thomas Wade, push up, chop, chop, up, chop, chop, and up. He's got that in one channel now. So if that's the case, this is an overshoot. Now, where it is, I wouldn't be surprised if that resulted in a reversal. Having said that, sometimes when you get a spike in channel, it pushes out the top. Yeah, Dan's got this working in a channel as well. So that is a possible overshoot. Now, as we've had a spike and a channel up, sometimes it pushes out the top, whether it will or not. So just incidentally, this Apex 80% off offer finishes in a few days, I think 4 more days after today. So UKFT is my code. If you use it or you have used it, it's appreciated. So that finishes. We got the weekend, and we so Tuesday, Wednesday time, I think. Yeah, this is losing. And there's enough buyers here. This looks like it's coming down to me. There'll be liquidity down here and here. Channel down, push below the EMA, 2 attempts to push up. It is a second entry short. It's not the great signal bar. As we've been into this area 3 times, it may have another go, but I'm not super convinced. Have a quick look on Bookmap. Just put the silent on for a second if you could hear anything. So this is the this is ES Bookmap. Let me have a look at this. Yeah, there's masses of orders up here. Yeah, That makes sense. See a lot of that red, see a red above price at the moment. Bearing in mind that's on the ES, but it's more or less the same sort of picture. In fact, it's not actually. They're all at highs of the day, I think. Sorry, I was looking at that, thinking about NQ. It's a key entry point there, NQ, not saying it's a buy, but there's a channel. I just can't see. Oh, you're on about the wider channel. Is there some kind of a spike in a channel? It's just, I'm not a massive fan of this. It may work. What I tend to do now is if I don't like a channel, I tend to just delete it because it just gives me a bias, which I kind of don't want at the moment. Sometimes you can get focused on one way. I like to try and keep open-minded. Sometimes I've been that focused that it's got to go up. I've been looking for an entry, and if the patience goes and I take a poor entry, sometimes it'll just come dropping down. So I'm not convinced what this is doing at the moment. ES seems to be struggling to go anywhere. We've already had 2 pushes down on the NQ, so I'm not convinced. When you say channel, I'm saying it's oh no, you're about buy, so there may be something like that. It's hard to say at the moment, but we do seem to be in a bit of a brick wall there. I can't find it. It looks like a push up and a bit of sideways. So I can't get a channel that I like. So I have a feeling that this thing's going to come down. There we go. Quick push down. There'll be liquidity there and there. There's the head and shoulders pattern and 3 attempts to push higher on the ES. This is coming down for me, or at least temporarily. Okay, there we go. There's that first one and the second one. So the stops have been taken out there, and it is likely, yeah. See, we know where it's going half the time. It's just getting an entry. There's nothing there. There's nothing there for Pats either. So is that 2 legs back and this going to try again? I don't know. I wouldn't want to trade here at the moment. It's just too choppy and unclear. I don't know whether it's going to try and push up to the highs of the day or push into that wide NQ chart up here. It's been up there 3 times. It nicked it that first time, second time, third time. Sorry, nicked it the first time, dropped straight out. Excuse me, 3 times there. It's had another go, and it just hasn't got the legs. And now it comes down, it comes. So this is more rangy, if anything. So that might just be a failed breakout of a range. Yeah, we're just stacking up on the ES. That's looking like a head and shoulders. This is clearly coming down. So that's an overshoot. And there's... There's a second entry long there, but I wouldn't be taking that. Having said that, you never know. It may just be a bit rangy. As I mentioned, sometimes when you get a spiking channel, it does allow it to go out at the top. I certainly won't be taking a trade here at the moment. Not only that, at least at the moment, NQ's coming down. So I wouldn't take a long on the NQ. So, you know, as we know, these two work side by side. I won't be taking a long here. It may work. You just never quite know. It's not been the easiest of trading days today. That was the one of the day, I think, for a penguin. Certainly, I thought I like that as a penguin trade. Clearly working up. 2 nice legs down. We got a leg down, a couple of pushes out, even a short ear maybe. I think some took that. Be interesting to see if does anybody know Penguin's name? Be interesting to see if he does marks up a chart for later. Don't ask. Is it that bad? Pegu. In fact, actually, I signed up for his $19 a month. It's only £15 UK, and I'm pretty sure there was a name on it. He deleted half his channel like years ago because he had accidentally mentioned his name. Did he really? Do you know what? When I saw the receipt, I'm pretty sure there was a name on it. I won't show anybody. I got told off by Marco for showing Mac's picture. He was only joking though. Okay, so that second entry long on that ES is triggered. And I'd say, without a doubt, sometimes that's why it's good to have the NQ, because if the NQ's looking bearish and you're thinking about taking a long Pingu, even, let's call him Pingu, that's easy. If you wouldn't be thinking here about taking a long, would you, on the NQ? So why would you do it on the ES? That's kind of, I used to use the NQ just as like an anchor chart, but I stopped using the N because sometimes it taught me out of trades. But there is a second entry long there. You may argue that's a triple test, but as we've had an overshoot, you wouldn't really want to be going long here. And you know, with the NQ looking bearish, it's very private. Don't think he'd appreciate. No, I wouldn't do it. So he deleted half his videos, did he? Mind you, he's got me money. I'm paying him £15 a month. I should know how I'm giving it to. Yeah, this is temporarily trending down. How far it goes, I don't know. It's not coming down very strong. Okay, I think I'm done for today. So it's not been a bad day today. It's been some learning anyway. I realised what I should have taken and what I should have done. But even on a red day, down $32, that's about the best red day I've ever had. So I'm all right with that. That's the beauty. I can adjust this risk literally by the dollar. It's, yeah, see, if you'd have taken that on the second entry long, triggered you and stopped you out. So that's another good reason to have that NQ chart, because if the NQ chart is coming down in a channel, you may be reading the ES chart wrong, and in that case you were. Slight overshoot. You may argue that's a triple test, but if you went long there, it triggered you, came down, stopped you out. So, you know, even if you don't trade the NQ, it does have its uses, especially if it's a bit unclear what you're doing. Sometimes a quick glance at that NQ will give you a little bit of a clearer picture of what's going on. So, you're welcome, mate. So I'll leave you guys to it. So best of luck if you're carrying on trading. Failing that, we'll catch up on Monday. So have a great weekend. Stay safe. And we'll catch up on Monday. Bye for now.